Last week I was given the fantastic opportunity to ride a bike up the hill at the Goodwood Festival of Speed, and of course I jumped at the chance. So how did this come about? Well, I was approached by those lovely people at LiveWire and said, would you like to come to the Goodwood Festival of Speed? And I said, yes, of course I would. They also then said, would you like to ride a bike up the hill? To which I said, of course I bloody will. Unfortunately, some of the footage that I shot in preparation for the run was corrupted, and the only stuff that I could save was in portrait mode, which I'd shot for Instagram. Now, thankfully, the video footage of the run itself was fine, so I thought I'd pull together a short video to show you that run, but it'd also give you a little bit of a look behind the scenes of what happens as you approach the staging area and what the marshals do to get you up and running, and also what happens at the top end of the track, because you don't often see that. So, with no further ado, let's get rolling. After arriving at Goodwood, I made my way to the Drivers Club, where I filled in a form before being issued with my rider's wristband. This wristband has a QR code on it, which the marshals scan when you get to the staging area. You also get a really nice little medallion that gets you in and out of the Drivers Club for the changing area and everything else. Once I'd done that, I went down to see the guys to find out what time I needed to be there, and you have to be there about half an hour or so before your designated slot, and I was in the last slot of the day on Saturday at 5:30. Once the time for the ride came around and I was settling the butterflies in my stomach, the marshals would direct you through the first glance village to the staging area, and then unfortunately it was a bit of a waiting game. They were running a little bit late, so we ended up sat waiting probably about 45 minutes before we did our actual run. But before we knew it, it was time to roll into the staging lane. You'll see there's a number on my front mudguard. You run in strict number order so that the commentators know what machine is coming up the hill and who's riding it or driving it, etc. So we sit here to get everybody in order, and then the marshals start the process of getting you up the hill. First bike off the line in our group was the fantastic looking and sounding Samurai from Sure Shot, and he wanted to kick things off with a massive burnout. But the burnouts weren't finished yet. Matt from Sticky Speed Shop decided to do exactly the same with their awesome Urban Gorilla 450 single. Then, all of a sudden, it was my turn to go.
We know where you are. We're watching you.
This was the first time I'd ridden this bike at any more than a walking pace, so I was a little bit tentative going into the first corner until I could gauge what the power delivery was like. This bit proved to be tricky because dropping into the shade by the flint wall in a dark visor means that I lost sight of that wall for a brief second. You also get an impression of the speed that some of the vehicles cross that finishing line, because the run in from there to the staging area is much longer than I was expecting.
Royalty, really, 14-time champion, and I can't think of anybody else better to bring Land Rover to the Dakar Rally next year. Yeah, I mean, everyone's having some big Anthony who's been on motorcycles before he went to car factory, Yamaha rider. He's incredible.
Wow.
Wow,
We then congregated at the top until all of the vehicles had come through on that particular group, and at that point you then just ride back down to the bottom together at a nice moderate pace.
God, that thing makes a hell of a noise. Oh God, yeah.
I just want to end the video by saying a big thank you to LiveWire for the invitation. It was an absolute blast. I had a whale of a time, and it was a real honour to be able to ride up that historic hill climb at Goodwood. I really enjoyed riding the Del Mar. I've ridden electric bikes before. I think they're a lot of fun. They're flawed in some respects if you make a direct comparison to standard combustion bikes, but that doesn't take away from the fun that they are and the sheer acceleration that they offer. So much so that the guys have said, do you want to take a Del Mar for a little while to ride it and check it out in your normal riding environment? And of course I said yes. So I'll bring you a video of that a little bit later on. I know I'm going to get spammed in the comments from people going, they're too expensive, they haven't got a big enough range. Yep, I understand all of that. We just need to look at them, I think, slightly differently. So if you've got any ideas of what you'd like to see in the video, then let me know. That will be coming up soon, hopefully. If you've got any questions or any comments, let me know in the comment section down below. And all that leaves me to say is until next time, thanks for watching. Take care, ride safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.